All right, everyone, welcome to season 8 and round 11 of our IRC championship here. This is the finale event. We're right here in Silverstone today. I'm joined here by my friend Third Prophet. Third Prophet, how are you today?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect. All of us are really excited because again, we have an amazing championship battle here, a three-way fight till the end. But before we begin with that conversation, let's move on to the track guide. Yeah, perfect. So this is Silverstone. Of course, we have 18 total corners. The circuit length is 5.891 kilometers. Of course, we have two DRS zones, one at the Wellington Straight and the other at Hanger Straight, which would give us enough time to go for overtakes. The important corners to look at here are turns 6 and 7, turns 9, and turns 15. That would be all. Let's move on to the hot lap.
Come on board a lap of the Silverstone circuit. Now heading to turn 1, it's a flat out. Want to use minimum steering and keep it as smooth as possible as to not throw off any speed. Into turn 2, tail brake extremely heavily and then just a light dab on the brakes for turn 4. Slingshot the car into Brooklands. You want to keep a wide line and watch out for the DRS board on either side of the track and open it with a few extra Ks you will need to overtake on this track. Braking just after 50 for the Luffield section. Lots of different lines you can experiment with through here, but as we see, take a tight line and then slingshot the car onto the second straight, which is formerly the pit entrance and the old GPs. Now into Cobb's Corner, it's relatively flat out, but again, you have to be very accurate with the steering as to not scrub any speed off the car. Into Maggots and Beckett as you glide from apex to apex, keeping the minimum speed high. Just a dab on the brakes in the Beckett section and slingshot the car into Hanger Straight. Watch out for the DRS board on either side of the track. Open it for the extra Ks. Now into Store section, you want to brake just after the curb starts. And just a dab on the brakes and then you flick the steering onto the right and get a great exit. And to Vale, tires are crying by this point, but you just got one more corner, so hang on as you get a slingshot exit onto the start finish straight, and that's a lap of Silverstone.
Yeah, that was an amazing fast lap. I can't imagine how much time it would take him for him to get that lap time in there. But again, I think we'll be seeing some of this in our stream here with Quali. I don't think Quali has started yet, but let's just speak about this track, Prophet. What do you think about this track whenever you hear Silverstone?
For me, it's legacy. It's Formula One. It's close racing. It's going as close as you can to the limit of your car, your setup. Making sure that you've got every single apex of every single lap down to the wall because you've got to do some fantastic open racing here. Open because street circuits, while they're a fantastic spectacle, it kind of limits drivers because you can't take as many risks and you're kind of limited or restricted to certain overtaking zones. But with a track like Silverstone, I mean, if you remember Leclerc and Verstappen in 2019, even
Hmm.
2020, we had some really good racing over there. So, I mean, this is Formula One. I mean, I think Silverstone, I think Formula One.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Silverstone is one of the most balanced tracks you'll ever find there because there are some huge straights. There are high to medium fast corners and medium fast corners. Yeah. And at the same time, there are so many slow corners. Like this is exactly what you want from a Formula One circuit. It just delivers every single time because of that unique nature, because of the unique track layout. And I think thinking about one of the more recent F1 races. I think for me, I prefer 2019 Britain GP to the 2021 because of, again, that amazing Leclerc and Verstappen fight, and then the the Bottas and Hamilton fight, if I'm not wrong, as well. That was
Yeah.
just fun to watch.
Yep. And while we are at it, I think we should definitely pull up the standings where these speedy boys of the
runoff space ends up punishing you as well, because you tend to sort of go off and you'll be on the grass, and coming back onto track won't be that easier, compared to how it's in France, where the runoff area is basically um, hard concrete, or it's not punishing enough as gravel or grass. So I think in terms of that aspect, it's really great. What do you think about like the entire track of Silverstone, like how they've
Yep, I think
constructed?
yeah, my favorite thing about Silverstone is um depending on how depending on whether you're just doing a fast lap or whether you're defending your position or whether you want to overtake your position, every single fast corner of the track, that is your Abbey is a really Abbey and Farm really fast, Cops really fast, Maggots Beckett's significantly fast. The way you look at and treat these corners changes dramatically, right? I mean, if you are someone who's overtaking, you would want to harass the guy in front of you to try and be more aggressive on his tires, say through 2 or 3 laps. And once he's got the heat in, you just want to take him through those same fast corners that he was defending you all through this while. Whereas when you're defending, I think if you have got the skills and the smarts and you can keep your car like a bus, then you can back your opponent or back your rival down, so that he's probably taking the sharper angles into a corner, or he's probably taking the inside line when it's not supposed to be an inside line. And look at that, we have a wet quali.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. That's going to change everything in the race. Everything's going to be jumbled at this point. This is something I don't think any of our championship leaders wanted coming to the race, but I guess we'll just have to look and see who's going to benefit most from this.
Yeah, and this brings a critical question to mind. How many folks do you think are going to compromise quali setup for the race setup? Do you think it's going to be majority of the field?
That's a good question. Looking at this rain, I feel like there's a high chance. I think there's a high chance people won't go for a quali setup. I think they'll just go for a race setup. I think they'll just try to muscle their way around quali, just hoping that once they reach into the race, their race pace would help them get those positions back, because this is Silverstone, you can overtake. So I
Agreed.
think that would be a better strategy to go for.
Agreed. And Mr. Couple Ace, currently in P4 in our championship standings, at the end of Brooklyn's, just getting some heat into those tires, trying to gauge what it's like on the track. And I love the way just the entire ambiance of the track just changes. Silverstone in the wet is a completely different racetrack. And
True.
obviously you can say the same of any other racetrack, but I would like to think, because of the way Silverstone's built, like we were talking just a little earlier, right? It's a perfect racetrack. Excuse me, it's a perfect racetrack in many ways because of the way it's built, right? And because of its perfection, when it's in the rain, you can see a completely different track at times. And there, Couple invalidates his lap, but I don't really think he was trying to set a time there. He was just, getting used to what it's like to be on the asphalt right now.
Yeah, he's definitely testing the limits of that car, and that's very important when you go for a fast lap in quali, is to check how far you can push your car in those conditions, because one single mistake, like I said, it's open, but there are some positions or there are some places where if you make one mistake, you go off track, you can crash into wall. One of the famous corners here, I believe it's the corner, well, after club. If you mess up club, you're definitely going to go into wall on the right, so you don't want to take that too aggressively, and you don't want to make a mistake at those sort of corners where there's a chance you might crash out and lose your entire quality.
Yep. And we see
So again, the rear just kicked in there. There's no chance he could have saved that. Oh wow.
Do we want to maybe see some other drivers on track as well? Switch between a few other onboards.
I think nailing, the sequence of village loop and on tree, it's gonna be very hard for these drivers right now in these conditions, especially when it's this wet. Inter's, oh wow.
Wow.
He almost lost it there. Yeah, it's just on tree. It's too horrific right now in these conditions.
Yeah, and we won't even see too many people benefiting from the DRS because you get such abysmal exits out of the straights onto the DRS. I mean, out of the corners that push you onto those straights. Like you can see, he's just struggling to keep it there as we go through Woodcourt and then jump through Cops.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
look at that.
if I'm not wrong, we won't have DRS, right? Because it's raining.
Yeah, of course.
DRS would be disabled. Yeah. So these guys are just relying on their ERS, which isn't much to be honest, and just relying on their corner entry and corner exits. It's all they have to manage right now, but that's going to be so difficult. And it
Yeah,
just
that's a
looks
good
like we
point.
have a race at our hands because I just feel like Akash Sonoman is just going to, Banat might just go for an overtake on. Uh, yeah, I think Akash was about to go for an overtake on Real SD there. Yeah, again, let's just follow on Akash. Again, Akash has been a good qualifier in the past few days, and but again, Akash was the fastest lap here. I believe it's a 118.21. No,
139.
139. Sorry, I couldn't see that properly. 139. Again, it's a wet track. I'm not sure how fast these guys can go in a wet condition. I know they're pretty quick in dry, so we'll just have to see. Oh, there's someone on Inters, Moto. Let's see how Moto is currently doing. Oh wow, you can see how carefully he has to take every single turn. I don't think
Yeah.
it's ready for Inters right now. And I mean, you can even see how heavily it's raining right now. I mean, you tend to put in Inters when it sort of shifts to light rain, and you
Yeah.
can start to see a dry line. I think
Yeah.
it's just Moto trying to go for a experiment here. What do you think about that, Prophet?
Yeah, I'm just looking at him jump down to sixth gear through Cops and down to fourth now as we just jump into
Oof.
the hanger straight. Yeah, that just goes to show these boys are not very confident, and we might have called it that they are mostly on race setups, which is
Yeah,
why they're probably not, not able to keep it on the line um, in through quali right now.
yeah, definitely. And I don't think we'll be able to see a dry quali run anytime soon because it's 11 minutes left in the session. The rain doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon. We might see something like an Inters run in the end, but yeah, at this point, it's anyone's game on. Again, if we get maybe an Inters setup in the end, you'll see a lot of last second chaos because everyone will want to set a lap at the very end with those intermediate tires. So let's just keep an eye on how Aradia is going in with this lap. Of course, he's approaching Maggots and Beckett's at this point. It's in fifth gear at this stage. It's very slow. I wouldn't expect him to take it with that hesitation, but again, now he's pushing towards Stowe. Again, he has to nail this lap, but I don't think he might because he already has two yellow sectors. So, and that's a clear invalidation. Okay, he was planning to return to the track.
Yeah,
Explains probably a few things.
that was a good lap. He was doing, I mean, he was trying to be fast, but you can see there's a little bit of a struggle, especially when you're on worn tires.
You definitely you can see the understeer that these guys are dealing with at this stage. I don't think, like you said, it's not a quality setup. In no way is this a wet setup. I think it's just a dry setup that they're trying to muscle their way around. Which again, oh wow, and we see Moto 2
Mm-hmm.
purple sectors here with the intermediates. Is this the time to switch here? I
Yep,
wonder if he got enough.
it's
He
raining
almost
purple.
lost it. That's 2 seconds. Oh, that's almost 2 seconds faster than this. It's time to go for the intermediates. I think Moto has just given everyone a clear indication that it's time for the Intus leave the wets to dry basically because it's not going to be useful for anyone, and I don't think anyone wants to stay out on that track from with those wet tires for any more laps. It's just going to be wasting time.
Yep. And I mean, I would be surprised if others are not able to do similar lap times once they're on inters, because that might be a significant, I mean, that might signify that there's something on with setup going on there, or Moto just probably got a lap, the perfect lap at the perfect time. His car was just in the right place. You never know. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the green rim tires and their drivers do in the next couple of minutes on the quali in
I
our
think
quali.
it's gonna be a very high risk, high reward situation. I think Moto went for that risky strategy, and it ended up paying dividends. It's just about whoever is ready to push that intermediate tires at this stage, or maybe what these guys are trying to do is staying on these wets, creating a dry line. So once they come out with their inters, they sort of have a visual representation of what line they have to follow, where they have to sort of stick their car, which patch of land gives them more grip. I think that's probably but we see Helium going for a green sector in sector one, so that's a pretty good lap from Helium. We're now of course, he's now going to approach the national pit straight, and again, he's try to take cops as clean as possible. You don't want to invalidate your lap at this stage of now. Of course, taking maggots and beckets extremely cautious, cautiously, because again, any extra throttle at the wrong moment could just send them spinning in. But he's 7/10 faster. Yeah, again, it just feels like the Inters are the better tires, but Helium might be a big contender for pole today, looking at how fast he's pushing those wets. And again, it just makes sense for him to go into pits and change for Inters now.
There was a very interesting point you brought out earlier that they're just probably going out to get a feel for the track and mainly clear the wet out of the water, the wet, and create that dry line, which is quite evidently visible as we go on with Wilster as he pushes the car through 7th gear. Oh, that's some good car control there.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, he's being very careful in those low speed corners, not to make a single mistake.
I think his AI is taking over, so yeah. It's pretty evident from the gear
Okay.
shifts.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Wilster's got the AI driving for him. Probably he's just seeing how it goes. Now on board with Black Sheep, one of the OG drivers of IRC, taking a beautiful line through there as he plunges the car now through loop, taking a judicial exit through there, on through Brooklands. And you were right, I don't see any DRS activity, so they're definitely restricted in this weather. Very careful through Lafitte, and yes, Black Sheep I think's done a good lap. He set his fastest.
Definitely. But
throws the car
fast
out
is he
through
going?
Woodcourt. Yeah, he throws it out of Woodcourt on 7th, 8th. I want to just see where he goes. 6th gear, I think. Oh, he goes onto the grass, takes a very, very sharp angle through Corps. You want to take the rest ahead, Hap?
Yeah, sure. Of course, he is pushing his car right now. You can see he's just inches away from invalidating his lap, but yeah, he's definitely pushing out those inters now. I think it's easier for the drivers at this stage with that dry line. He's just wow. I believe yeah, he's getting quicker, and he's not too far back from the rest of the drivers right now. Of course, he just has to nail his last few corners, his last slow corners, of course, through Whale and Club. It's going to be difficult not to spin the car if you're not, if you're a bit too throttle happy. And yeah, you can just see excellent car control from Blackfield. And again, he was just hundreds of attempts behind, I believe, Moto. That was one fast lap from Black Sheep there. You can definitely see, I think even he had a purple sector too, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he
At least
did.
until that lap time was completed.
And I may be guessing here, but I think Black Sheep's done a quali setup.
Ooh, yeah, that could be a high cost
He's
entry.
probably going for position in this in quali and trying to see if he can start in the front. Probably have a mixed hybrid setup that helps him out in during the race as well. And while it definitely will compromise him uh, during the race distance, having a starting position that's in the front row might be the cushion that he needs to have a good finish today.
Yeah, definitely. Could we go on to Akash Dhanwala? I think he had a purple sector 1, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Akash had a good sector 1. He's now had a good sector 2. But again, um, I'm not sure who had the purple sector 1. But yeah, I
he's
think
evaluated
maybe.
his lap.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So that probably explains. Yeah. But Helium right now is going 4/10 quicker. I wonder if that's 4/10 quicker than Moto. I don't think so. I think it probably would be 4/10 quicker than his previous lap. But that is definitely a very quick sector for Helium at this stage. Of course, now he's going to approach Stowe. He wants to actually. When I saw, I believe Black Sheep take that corner, he was using the grass mainly to help him make that corner. To sort of give him a steep angle where he could still keep the throttle down and make that corner, just to just to get a maximum speed out of Stowe, because that's the important part in quality, just to get the most out of that corner. And of course, now he's approaching, I believe, he's approaching Stowe at this stage. That was Cops. And now, of course, he's approaching Whale and Club. Again, take it extremely cautiously, because you could spin at these few corners. They're very slow, and yeah, I think he just takes it perfectly. That's one fast lap. It's 136.045. That is extremely quick, and I think that's probably the pace we want to be looking at the end of this race. And that's good news for Asher as well. He's put his car in P3 for the time being. I don't think that's an extremely fast lap, but I think in the end that would help him sort of keep a high position by the end of this quali. What do you think about that, Prophet? What about
I was glued to my chair sitting, watching Helium's hot lap, because that literally was a hot lap in this rain, and I feel like he's probably created a dryer line thanks to his fast lap, because that's 7/10 ahead of Akash. I mean, in this weather, and behind them, the biggest gap that I see is probably between Black Sheep and Aradhya, where they have 3/10 between them, and that's probably because Aradhya has probably not even put in a fast lap yet, or he's just testing out intermediates. As we can see, 0 laps. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and Moto comes in close, splits the time between Helium and Akash, and I feel like the McLaren boys are probably trying some slipstream out. Probably not, because there's no DRS anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it looked like Winster kind of impeded Aradhya, or I don't know. Aradhya
Oh,
was
interesting.
faster than Winster in that hot lap. Because they were
Oh,
kissing
wow.
the diffuser the diffuser and the wings.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. Yeah, it's definitely going to cause a lot of issue to
Yeah, the McLaren boys.
Aradhya in the end, and I think that's going to be I don't think it's going to be a report that would help Aradhya, because again, this is the last race of the season, and
Plus, it's his teammate.
Yeah, true. It's going to be a tough conversation there.
Yeah, and especially considering it's Aradhya in P2 in constructors, and in the drivers' championship, and you have Akash, who's I think P6 in the championship right now, who's slit himself ahead of Moto. That's a very, very strong performance. So right now it's not so much about being fast as it is about driving like Alain Prost. Like, he was known as the professor because he knew what points game he needs to play at, right? Like Helium, yeah, of course, the driver in him is gonna be like, yeah, I absolutely gotta ball it, and win this championship by winning this race, but it's not necessarily important. He might just win it by coming P2 if there's someone who's faster than him or someone who's probably got a better strategy thanks to luck. So I feel like that's going to be today a big factor in today's race as well. Race position, where you choose to end. So yeah, looking forward to seeing a lot of that.
Definitely, I think it's gonna be an important factor, and this is the race where it matters right now for all these guys. Again, Helium completed his lap. I think that was the perfect lap for him, and let's see who has it in their attempt. Oh, and Black Sheep loses it right, but luckily he's able to put up that time, even with that spin.
Yeah, lucky.
Wow, that's so lucky. Yeah, but that's a good enough lap for Black Sheep to retain P8. Funny that we were mentioning that he would have a quali setup, but it looks like he just got enough in there for P8 right now.
Yeah.
Rissel, of course, the last one to cross the line and
Really
managed to get his
struggling.
lap. So that's an easy pole for, well, not an easy pole, but yeah, there was not enough of a fight in the end for that pole. I think Helium would be extremely proud of that lap, 3/10 quicker than anyone in the field, and
Yep.
importantly, he's ahead of Aradhya at this stage, which again would benefit him in his championship fight.
Yep. And every position and every point matters, considering the kind of point gaps that we have. 30, 25, 21. It's pretty interesting, right? So let's see. I'm really
Definitely.
looking forward to seeing how this race goes on and how it ends. So what are your predictions, Have? Do you want to make any predictions, or do you think like we might lay the commentator's curse on our boys?
Yeah, I think we just might lay a commentator because the last time I said Helium will win a race, he ended up retiring from it. So I'm just gonna keep myself retained in that scenario. But yeah,
Okay.
funny enough, I was looking at the standings from quali. Of course, it's Helium, Aradhya, and Moto in P1, P2, P3. But funny enough, I think I saw Ashley and Wilster, both of them just right behind each other. So it's Aston Martin, McLaren, Aston Martin, McLaren in terms of that aspect. So it's going to be very, very spicy to see how those boys react to that race.
Yeah. Interesting quali. I feel like every driver showed their worth today, considering it's a wet quali on a dry setup, and now you reap the benefits of being a skilled driver with the position that you have when you're starting this race. So I'm really
Yeah,
looking forward to lights out.
Yeah, definitely. I can't see a single cloud in the sky right now, so I'm just going to assume it's going to be a dry race from start to finish. And if you had a wet setup in quali and you were just gonna go out on, into the dry, you just abandoning your race just for a frivolous
Quali, yeah.
position. Yeah, quali. Yeah. And
Totally
yeah, I
agree
just
with you.
think these last few minutes for these drivers will be very important. I think at this stage they might be planning what they want to do because again, Aradhya is up there on the front row. It's not going to be an easy fight for Helium when he reaches Abbey. It's going to be a difficult one for both of them to have no contact and keep themselves close to each other as well. Go wheel to wheel. But yeah, let's see if we see some moves from these guys in lap one. Again, I don't want to see anything like Hamilton Verstappen, but a clean move lap one would be something interesting.
Agreed. And we're just about getting started.
Yeah, and again, Helium is going to be leading our folks in the formation now. Of course, he'll be deciding the pace of these drivers right now. Yeah, but funny enough, while we're speaking about Silverstone, we haven't even mentioned track limits, which is going to be an important factor today as well. This is one of those punishing tracks, uh, which if you make a simple mistake in an entry into corner, you're definitely going to understeer and get a penalty for it, or at least a warning for it. It might rack up multiple warnings. So drivers will have to be careful about that. Of course, these are tier one drivers. They are skilled, But sometimes, in the heat of the moment or in the impression of the act, you tend to make mistakes, and that is what costs you positions in the end.
Good
What do
words.
you think? What do you think about some of these important corners? I think one of the important corners they want to take as clinically as possible would be cops. I think that is definitely a corner which ends up, well, not ends up giving you a penalty because a lot of people know how to exploit it. But yeah, that's definitely a corner where people just understeer into uh, off the track. Basically, a corner you have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think, um, especially these fast corners, when you're under pressure, you're at the limits of your tires. You know you can't pit immediately because you're just going to lose the race if you do that. Those are critical moments for you as a driver because that's where you tend to have the most opportunities to make mistakes, and the less you can create that margin of error for yourself, the better your race sums up towards the end. Otherwise it's just a zero sum game. Every time you make an advantage, you're losing that much of an advantage in the laps that you're not doing well, right? So yeah, it's going to be a race of attrition today. Let's see who's able to hold out to their tires the longest, because we see a mix of starting
Yeah.
tires right now. That's a very interesting thing because you have Moto and Akash who have decided to go on mediums and probably take it a little later, probably have the longer stint under the longer first stint under their belt, and get the undercut. I mean the overcut on the boys, and you might just see some undercuts also working out if Helium and Aradhya are able to pull away really well. Moto probably not able to. Then he might just decide to switch tires at that point of time. You never know. I mean, it all comes down to driver skill, and it all comes down to the kind of trends that you see already on these tracks.
Yeah, I see the not second drivers, but their teammates for Aston Martin and McLaren both have opted for the mediums, while the championship contenders have opted for the softs. I think they're just probably planning on having an alternate setup, so
Yeah.
both of them could benefit at any point. But yeah, the grid is set at this stage. We're just waiting for the 5 lights to start this Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go. I see Helium got an amazing start. I think he's not even interested in covering Aradhya at this stage because Aradhya couldn't challenge for a move on the inside. But we see Helium maintaining that position. Moto is not too far behind. I believe that's Moto being losing a place in P4 and Couple getting a place in P3. While we see a
Wilster spun.
McLaren of Wilster losing out. That's gonna be a difficult
Yeah, and
one
Couple's
to
getting
swallow.
very aggressive through the corner as well. I mean, he's made 2 positions because of his tires, so probably the medium tires didn't really work so well on the starting laps. As you can see, he's putting tremendous pressure on Aradhya as they jump out of Woodcourt. Is he gonna try and do an overtake through Cops? I don't think so. It's too risky.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Oh my God. Did we just see that?
Oh,
Did we just see that?
Couple. Oh wow! That is. I think Couple should have let off the throttle there. Come on, Couple. You knew exactly what he was doing.
There might have been some lag for him as well, as we see Couple, going really wide. He's probably giving up positions, thinking that he's done an illegal overtake, but it's way more than that, Couple. So I feel like there might have been an internet issue at some point of time, and you can see Moto's in P8. So it probably was an Aradhya in P10. So it was probably and there's a Shastry spinning out.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's good. Helium has gotten the fastest lap. I just thought there was something around an instance with Helium, but yeah. So for now, Helium has to survive, but this is looking very bad for the other championship contenders. Moto is down in P7, and again, Aradhya is down in P9. Unfortunately, a Couple was a bit too aggressive there. Yeah, but I think in that moment, maybe Aradhya should have done something to avoid a spin. He should have probably given a position or something, because Couple doesn't have anything to lose. Aradhya has had everything to lose, and I think he's just lost all that. But I don't think the race is over, because this is Silverstone. Anything can happen, and a safety car can change the face of this entire race. So we'll just hope for the best. And oh wow! And we see two cars just go extremely wide at cops. Tanish and Kapil, they'll probably need to manage some of that understeer because yeah, that's gonna be a pain. But again, it just looks so great for Helium, and we see Real ST just taking 1/10 behind. Everyone is in a train right now from second to basically fourth and fifth. Wow, just 2/10 away from everyone. Wow, this is an immense train, and I think Rissel has the worst job of keeping all of them behind. As you can see, Akash Sonawane is
I
getting
feel like
extremely close, and he's going. ST is going for a move on the inside here. Can he stick? And he's stuck. Oh yeah, he's definitely got that move done. Oh, and Akash Sonawane loses another position too. Tanish is going for another move. No, oh, and Akash Sonawane fights it back. He's got the inside line right now. He's fighting it back. He's trying to push Tanish out of the corner. He still has the inside line. Has he got it? Yeah, I believe Akash has it, but Kapil is right behind him with DRS, and so is Tanish. Kapil goes for a move on the inside there at left field, and at Brookfield's at left field. Oh, and then Kapil's still sticking it out. Akash is doing all he can with those medium tires.
Tanish spins.
Tanish spins. Akash is doing everything to keep Kapil behind with those medium tires, but it's getting extremely difficult for Akash just to maintain pace with these soft runners. Ooh, and Kapil goes for a move here. What an easy move for Kapil. Looking at the tire, I think the soft tire is just easily able to maintain grip at this stage of the race. Wow, that was one hell of a lap for these guys. I almost lost my breath.
Yeah. If I could just request that we switch from positions gain to what tires they're on. Thank you so much. And that just goes to show, the soft tire dominating right now.
Definitely. It's a good thing. Well, again, these medium tires won't dominate now, but they'll dominate later once the pit strategy is complete and these drivers who started on their mediums end up on their softs. But as we see, Kapil just getting very restless with Rissel here. He's just trying to sniff for any chance he can go for an overtake. And Rissel, unfortunately, I don't think Rissel has enough pace in that car right now. Just looking at the way he's approaching each corner, I just don't think his setup is properly. Oh wow! And Kapil is trying to stick it on the outside, but he just gone a bit too wide there.
Yeah.
Russell is just making sure he's just placing his car in the perfect position where overtaking is not going to be that easy. He's just defending within the limits or within the rules of the sport.
Yeah, Kapil's got to keep his head down.
You see Tanish going for a move on, I believe, is that Ashray? Yeah, that's Ashray. Yeah, not a great race for these three boys right here, Arathya, Ashray, and Wilster. I think they'll probably want to forget the first few laps of this race at this stage. Kapil fallen back quite a big margin, but Russell goes for a move on the outside. He's still maintaining that pace. He's got the inside line right now. It's going to be an easy move for Russell here, who's still maintaining that car in P2 here. At this stage, I don't think. Wow, we just see Helium pushing that car, getting a fastest laps after fastest laps. I don't think anyone.
Oh, lovely overtake by Kapil.
Wait, how's Wilster in P1?
I think that's just a glitch.
That's a glitch. Yeah, but like I said, Helium really maintaining that P1 position, and I don't think, looking at this pace from Helium right now, I don't think anyone is fast enough to challenge him anytime.
Sorry to interrupt. I think SD had a spin there.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, he's come P8. Wow. That was a good catch, Mr. Dan.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people spin out today. I think. I wonder if that's just the tires overheating a bit out of this. Oh, and that was so close.
Beautiful overtake.
Oh, that was extremely close. That reflexes on that guy, it is insane.
Beautiful. That was very well
If
done.
I had to make a point here, I think Russell just let him buy to get the DRS.
DRS here, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a risky move, to be honest, because
Nakash,
Russell should not have. Well, but Kapil still 6 it on the inside. He's still trying to find a way to get that position back. Can he go for a dive on the inside? No, he's just decided to keep it keep it clean for Vale and Club. Wow, I mean, Akash Sonwane, one of the speed drivers right now, still able to uh, keep up pace with the soft runners. At least for the time being, he's able to keep up his pace, which is good for him because again, those medium tires just need to stick with these soft runners, and I think he's doing the perfect job there. We might see Akash Sonwane actually getting P2, and it's going to be a difficult fight for Moto to get P2 here. But I don't think for the time being, I think, wow, yeah, again, these two are just fighting it out. They're going side by side through every single corner. I think Russell is partially proving me wrong because I just said he doesn't look like he has enough pace, and he's just showing more pace right now.
yeah, he was probably saving his tires, trying to, like Dan very nicely pointed out, taking advantage of the DRS, or rather misadvantage, as I'd like to call it. And Kapil gets another overtake done, and I think
Yeah,
that's
but
and I think
yeah,
it's
but
just for him to get the DRS again.
yeah, but I don't think Kapil will allow him to do that every single time. I think at one point Kapil will have to do. We'll have to use a lot of that ERS to just keep him behind and sort of, or at least not play his game. If he breaks, Kapil should break and sort of keep his DRS. Do something like an Alonso Hamilton in Canada.
Yeah, we're gonna probably see a lot of that, and he is. I think it's about whether you're able to throw. Yeah,
I
whether you're
knew
able to
that was
throw
coming.
your opponent off his game a little bit. Yeah, you were saying.
I said I knew that was coming. As soon as I saw that cut, I knew there was immediately a warning. And yeah, unfortunately for Kapil, that's a 3-second penalty. It's going to cost him a lot in the end. And he goes for a move here on the outside. Wow, an amazing move. Got enough grip on the outside to keep that car within the limits of the track, and Russell couldn't do anything about it at that stage. And I think even he got a benefit of the DRS there, so he was able to keep Russell behind, even with the amazing straight line speed of that car right there, that Mercedes. But yeah, as we're seeing again, Black Sheep keeping his car with Moto. We're seeing a bit of a train right now following Russell, or sorry,
Russell.
Kapil at this stage. Russell, sorry, and Kapil at this stage because Kapil is one ahead right now.
Yep.
Again, Russell finally getting DRS that he deserves and trying to go for a move here. It's going to be an easy move on the inside. Kapil won't fight it too much because he knows it's not worth it to go for a move. But I think, is Kapil trying to sneak up on the inside there? Is he going to go for a dive here? No, he's just decided he doesn't want to go for any risky moves at this stage of the race. Yeah, seeing Kapil racing here wheel to wheel with Russell. I mean, how close they're getting. I wonder why that incident happened with Aradhya at the start. I think you might be right. It just must have been lag because Kapil isn't a dirty driver in any regards.
Yeah, while you're saying
Definitely.
that, Dan, do you think you could just tell us what the active penalties are right now for our drivers?
Kapil sneaking his car on the outside. He's trying to keep that car within the boundaries of the track. He's going for a switch back. Oh, and it is Akash Sarwani on the inside, on the outside of the corner. Oh, Kapil almost completed his switch back, but unfortunately, Sonawani was there fighting Kapil. But because of that action from Akash, Moto has got the benefit of sneaking his car on the inside. Akash lets that position go, so Black Sheep tries to take it. Black Sheep tries to benefit from this move from Akash, and he's gone that position through maggots. Quite a wild set of turns for Akash in the last few laps. He's tried to go for a move at Lutfield and ended up losing 2 positions by Max and Beckett. But now he has DRS. Will he be able to sneak up a move on the inside here? No, he just decides of course it's a bit too far back off, and again Black Sheep has DRS because of Moto and Russell. But look at these cars; they just keep just sticking together so
What's Anish doing?
easily.
9 seconds penalty. Moto's got 6. Interesting. That might
Yes,
be like a
definitely.
game for the drivers. Like 6 seconds penalty for Moto puts
Oh, Black
him
Sheep locks up there. I'm sorry about that, Prophet, but again, Black Sheep just ended up locking up his tires. Um, and it also ends up losing some position, a few tenths there. But again, Russell getting overtaken by Moto and Couple, not something you want to see as a soft runner. I think maybe it's time these soft tires are dying at this stage, I believe. What do you think about that, Prophet? Do you think these softs are dying?
maybe not so much. I feel like the kind of laps that are being put in by Aradhya and Tanish shows that the softs are probably as worn out as the mediums, because the mediums have been belting from lap 1. It's not like they're taking a conservative race, right? They're trying to do similar, if not faster, lap times than the softs, and that kind of puts a lot of pressure on the tire itself. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, but I believe the mediums are more durable, so they'll be able to last a little bit more longer than the softs in these conditions. But yeah, again, Moto gets a pretty quick move out of that, out of Stove. And again,
Yeah.
sticking his car on the outside. I rarely see overtakes on the outside of Stove. That was an incredible move from Moto. And you can now see him benefiting from the free air. And I think at this stage, looking at Kapil,
I think you
Russell,
were right.
and
Yeah,
the
the
other drivers,
softs
yeah,
are
their
really
softs are
struggling.
dying. Yeah, yeah. I think it's time for. I think after 1 or 2 laps, these guys have to quit for those medium tires. Anything more after this would just end up destroying their race. But yeah, this is, I think, a good news for these medium runners because now they'll have the advantage of creating a good enough gap, and then also having the advantage of the soft tires at the end of this race, which will help them out a lot in the end.
Yep.
Yeah, so as we see Russell again struggling to keep Black Sheep behind, but I think he's just going to be able to keep Black Sheep behind for the next few corners because as soon as he reaches the hanger straight, I think Black Sheep's gonna go for an easy move on the inside. That's so. Yep, and he has DRS now. He's very close. Oh, and Russell also has DRS, which I forgot as well. But again, Black Sheep just trying to see if he can go for a move on the outside. But
Ooh! That was not good.
yeah, so what happened here is Russell basically, because of his tires, he understeered into Black Sheep, which I thought which would happen because that is something you see a lot at cops and stores. So you need to be careful if you're going to go for a move on the outside. You sort of have to trust the other driver as well. So yeah, pretty hefty mistake from Russell on that occasion.
Yeah, I feel like the time penalties are going to be a big factor in today's race. Because we've got like I think 12-second time penalty on tennis right now. That's insane. That's like 1.5. Like you go for a pit stop, you are gonna go for your pit stop, and you end up losing as much as a pit stop and a half because of the penalty that you have throughout the race. That's insane.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be able to serve these penalties because these are practice extensions. As far as I understand, you can only remove a penalty like 5 seconds. You got,
Yeah.
maybe.
What I meant is like not that they're gonna have to wait in the pits, but if you've got a 9-second penalty, then that's as good as half a pit
Oh,
stop.
yes,
So
definitely. Yeah, let's say if there's a safety car at the end of this race, that's gonna immediately destroy the race of these penalty drivers with that penalty. So yeah, now we look at Kapil, who's of course entering the pits at this stage. He's gonna want to move on to those medium tires and hope that his pace on the mediums is good enough to battle Moto and Akash for that step on the podium. Because let's be honest, I believe Helium at this stage looks to be too far ahead of anyone to challenge him. So I think it's a fight for P2 at this stage for all these other drivers right now.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Aradia. So as it stands, I'm pretty sure Moto beats Aradia in the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, definitely. I think looking at that difference, I think it's gonna be Moto in P2 and Helium in P1, which will sting a lot for Aradhya because he did have a really good quali from his side and just one mistake from a driver ended up causing him
Is it
an
possible
issue.
that Kapil might end up? No, no, he wouldn't. I think if Kapil was a little higher up, then he might have challenged for P3.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, like you said, yeah, Kapil could be challenging here. Of course, he had a lot of pace in those softs, but again, like I said, those mediums need to kick in for him. And I just when I drive at Silverstone, I just never feel like those mediums are good for this track. The softs are really great, at least when they're in that perfect time period where they're able to maintain that grip and that temperature. So it's going to be a difficult one for Kapil to come back with those mediums in the end. We'll just have to wait and find out what happens in the end.
Yeah,
Again, Wilster looks like he's going for a fastest lap right now. Um, yeah, it's just the lobby's a little bit so. Yeah, this does not help us right now.
Black Sheep still holding on with those softs. Oh, I mean, Tanish still holding on with those softs. I think he's got he's got a race to lose today. I mean, there's he's laden with such a heavy burden, time penalty. Now he's still on his old softs. It's going to be a
Definitely.
hard race for him.
It's not something we see from Tanish a lot, but yeah, he's a good driver, and we've seen him do well at some of these amazing tracks. But yeah, it's not a good race. I think it's a race Tanish might want to get pretty soon. But yeah, like we see Kapil and Aradhya fighting a bit too aggressively there. I think this is just a repeat of what happened lap one, and I don't think Aradhya is very happy with Kapil for that incident. And I don't think he's gonna want to give that position to him easily, as I can describe it. But yeah, Kapil has got DRS. He's gonna go for a move here on the outside. Will Aradhya fight it? No, he's gonna refrain from doing that for the time being. He's taking those corners very carefully right now. But again, I think it would have been better if he went a little bit more wide there for Aradhya to get maximum speed out of that corner. But yeah, Black Sheep just going for a move here on Danish, which isn't surprising because Black Sheep is again on those medium set of medium compound tires.
Interesting to note, earlier there was almost a 32-second difference between Tanish and Kapil, and now we see less than 8 seconds. I mean, 8 seconds between Tanish and Helium. I mean, Helium just overtook Kapil a while back. I think the standings are a little wrong here. I think in front of Kapil we had Aradhya, right? Aradhya and Kapil were trading laps, and I got that a little wrong. So we had Kapil and Aradhya trading laps, and the difference between Kapil and the guy in front of him was somewhere around 32 seconds. And now we have seen Kapil close that down to 11 seconds. So the fresh mediums definitely are playing a big help, because Helium just spirited a lap back and he's come up behind that pack. So all of those boys seem to be pitting right now, and that will give the guys who pitted earlier a little bit of an advantage. And now it's just a race of who's got the brains to use his tires smart enough, keep the best lap times, and do the best that they can.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. Again, I think these medium runners are done with their medium tires. I think they're coming in for their pit stops. Now the big question is who's gonna get the fastest lap, because medium tires won't be able to compete with the soft tires at this stage of this race. So it's just important to see where Moto comes out, and Moto is just 9 seconds behind Helium, which is again very important for Moto, because we might be able to see Moto actually cut that gap down and probably go for an overtake on Helium if he's able to maintain at least a higher pace than Helium at this stage. It's a lot to play for right now. Moto also has a 9-second penalty, so the main focus for Moto is to keep or to create a gap of 9 seconds with everyone behind him. So yeah, we'll just try to see how Moto reacts to this race, at least in terms of getting P2, because I don't think P1 is on the table at this stage.
I feel like Tanish might get disqualified if he gets another penalty.
Definitely. Wow! Akash Sonwani almost runs towards into, I believe, it was Kapil at that stage. Well, that was a bit too close for Akash. Yeah, and he's just trying to find a gap. Again, Akash is on those soft tires, so he's going to be very quick at this stage. Aradhya, I wonder if he's going to give it easily to Akash here. Again, you don't want to make any big mistakes that might cost you in the end. Yeah, you can just see the soft tires running giving you so much more grip than those mediums. You can see how better of an exit Akash gets out of those corners. It's 2 tenths now. He will get a benefit of DRS. He's going to go for an easy move on the inside through Brooklands and Ludfield. Yeah, it's going to be an easy move for Akash here. And again, he gets the fastest first sector as well. So I wonder if he's going to aim for getting the fastest lap in this race. He's got a good chance of doing that as well, looking at that lap time.
Oh yeah, now it's the ending stint of the race. This is when
Mhm.
the drivers who have done well with their qualifying, well with their setup, well with the early stint on their tires, the first stint on their tires, they can just, sit back and not have to worry too much or get the anxiety of where is it going to go, because they are in the spot they want to be in, and now it's just a matter of keeping it cool, keeping it clean. I think Wilster's DNF'd or
Like
probably
he's just disconnected, yeah.
Mm.
I think there's some desync or something going on with this AI right now. So yeah. Again, while I'm speaking, yeah, that seems right now because yeah, and as we're speaking, we have 3 fast guys who's going for the fastest lap. Yeah. Again, Black Sheep going for another fast lap of 128.711. That is one fast lap from Black Sheep. Again, you can see there's at least a second. These soft tires right now at this stage are one. Oh, and Tanish almost spins out there. He loses his rears and just does a very cool drift around village there. But yeah, now, yeah, I think he's just lost a lot of tenths there. He won't be able to go for a move right now at this stage, but he's probably trying to find his way around these few corners, trying to keep his car with SD. He's gonna try to see if he can stick a move on the inside right now, but he's just a bit too far back. But maybe he's gonna get a better run. Yeah, he's got a better run through these last few corners. And pushes. Is that SD? Oh wow, that is not on it, Tanish today. Wow. Yeah, that he almost bangs wheels into SD for no apparent reason on a straight. Well, yeah, I'm a bit speechless. I don't think that conduct is gonna work great. And Aradhya spins. That is terrible right now. That's a terrible race for Aradhya. I think this is one of those races which Aradhya just wants to forget. Yeah.
He's got to keep his chin up though, because he can't lose P3 in this championship. Couple's right there, P4 right now, and we have penalties as well. I mean, I don't know if Moto is gonna end. Yeah, like look at that, 6 seconds for Moto. That puts him behind Akash, just in front of Couple. Couple's got 6 seconds. That puts him behind Sir Tanish, and we see the 2 McLarens bumping wheels there, right?
So, if I'm not wrong, I think Wilster's probably back or fixed whatever issue he had, because we can see him now in his proper position, which is again behind Aradhya at this stage. While we're focusing on the McLarens, I just think it's been a terrible day for Asher as well. He was just stuck in last position, something he doesn't want to do. Clearly today, Helium didn't need his help at any stage. So it's great for Helium in that sense that he was fast enough to maintain that pace. Oh, and Tanish just. And what is happening to Wilster there?
He's disqualified again. I mean, disconnected again.
Mhm. Well, but yeah, I think. Oh wow, Tanish just having no chill with any rules today. He's just
He's doing a go-kart. He's in a go-karting race today, It feels like.
yeah. I mean, I think some of his actions are concerning, but yeah, let's just leave that to the stewards and after this race.
SD is definitely going to have a few words for him.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so again, Helium is currently in P1, followed by Moto in P2 with those soft tires. Akash in P3, Kapil in P4 with those medium tires, Black Sheep in P5, Aradhya Gupta in P6, Tanish in P7, Real SD in P8, Blister in P9, Rissel in P10, Ashray in P11. It seems like a clear win for Helium at this stage, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I didn't curse him at this stage. But yeah, looking at the pace of our current drivers, it might be a fight in the end for on-track position for P1, but off-track, I think William has this victory in his hands because he hasn't gotten a single penalty while maintaining that pace. That's just some amazing, amazing racecraft from Helium there. But yeah, as I'm speaking, Moto gets a faster second sector, and
He's pushing.
maybe he's trying to get another fast lap. I believe which Wilster has at this stage. Ooh, it's just a bit too far back for you. He's improved on his own time, but he's just not improved enough to get that fastest lap.
I think Black
I
Sheep
think
and Couple are having at least right now.
definitely, which I think Black Sheep will have the benefit of having some extra grip on those soft tires. But the race has dulled down at this stage because everyone has
Settled into their
feedback.
positions.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tanish probably hoping to go for a move on Aradhya at this stage. He has DRS. He looks to be on the better tires because, of course, and Russell spin. Wow. Interesting. I didn't notice this, but Asher was on those hards. So I believe Asher just decided to put on those hards and it didn't work for him. Just not a good race for him today. But the Black Sheep, we're looking at him. He tried to go wheel to wheel through Beckett's, but decided at the end not to go for a move there. But of course, because he will have DRS at the hanger straight, which is again an easy move for him. He got enough. He's got enough gap with DRS. He's gonna breeze past through Kapil, and I don't think Kapil would fight. Wouldn't put up any fight against Black Sheep at this stage.
Sheep's got a really, really, really clean race under his belt. I mean, being an ex-steward. Is he still a steward with us?
Yes, he is.
Being a steward definitely helps, know what mistakes other drivers make and avoiding them. So that's the best part.
Definitely. Again, can we take a look at penalties right now? Dan, how much everyone has? So Akash has 3 seconds. Moto has 6. If Akash gets one more penalty, we might see Black Sheep actually putting up a fight for P3 there because he's very close in terms of those positions. And again, Moto doing a very fine job of keeping Akash 6 seconds behind him. Again, he has 1 second of a buffer to work with, which is again extremely great for him to keep that position and hopefully get the second or the runner-up position in this championship. And this is something Aradhya won't want to see today. Tanish probably going for a move on Aradhya at the hanger straight and towards Stowe. Again, Tanish has a lot of ERS. I wonder why he's not using any of it. It just seems like Tanish is playing with his foot at this stage. Wow, yeah, Aradhya is definitely going to get overtaken. Aradhya has no ERS left. Tanish has a lot. I probably think it's a move we're going to see something at Wellington Straight and Brooklands, maybe something at Luffy. I think for Tanish, he'll also see that visible red lights sparkling around at the rear of Aradhya's Gupta's car, so he'll know that this is the time to go for a move.
Yeah, Radhya is definitely keeping himself as wide as he can through the corners, making it as difficult as he can for Tanish. But Tanish does have an opportunity that puts him behind.
He's not using any of his ERS. What is Tanish playing at right now? I mean, this is an easy move with the ERS.
He might have
He's
an
just
issue.
not. What? 1 second?
Yeah, he had a mistake. He made a mistake there out of Luffy.
Okay. So the ERS that he ended up saving, now he also used it just to get that gap back. I don't understand what Tanish is doing today. But yeah, like I was saying, I think all of the soft runners at the start of the race did not benefit at all with that strategy. I think most of the soft runners ended up losing a lot of their positions to the medium runners at the start of the race, or sorry, to that medium to soft strategy. I think that alternate strategy was the better strategy in the end. And as you can see, drivers like Akash, Black Sheep, and Moto are being rewarded for that call.
I feel like everyone who started on soft spun out, and they're all in the back. Like Aradhya, Tanish, Risal, Ashray, all of them spun out. So I think that was their disadvantage more than anything else today.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think if there wasn't, again, I don't want to bring too much light to this, but if that incident with Kapil and Aradhya did not pan out at lap 1, we would have been having a different race at this stage today. I think we'd probably see something like a fight between Aradhya and Moto, or maybe a fight between Helium and Aradhya, because we've seen Aradhya be able to push his car and challenge on tracks where it suits his pace. Yeah, again, Aradhya is within the RS of Kapil, which I found weird because Aradhya is right now showing some late race pace and catching up with a lot of these medium runner, medium tire or medium runners basically.
2 laps to go, and we've had a pretty delicious race today. I mean, everyone who's kept it clean. Oh, Risal retires. He's done the 75. Yeah, what were you saying? I think we missed you there.
Can we take a look at Ashray? I think he'll be. Oh yeah, so Russell basically disappears. But I wonder if Russell crashed or did he just decide to retire at the racetrack? I think he probably just crashed. I think those sequence of corners, he probably maybe made a mistake and just lost his wheel there. I was hoping for a safety car at the end of the race, maybe, but I guess it's just a bit too late for a safety car. It's just 2 laps left. The safety car, if it came out, probably we'd finish the race with, under a safety car. Yeah, that's why we won't see a safety car right now. Again, Kapil losing the position to Aradhya because, again, Aradhya just had more pace there. I wonder if Kapil has been saving some of his ERS. If he has any left, he probably would want to use that again ahead of Aradhya at this stage. Right, could you give me a second? I have to answer the door right now. You can take over.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, as we see, the race has pretty much settled itself. Dan, what have been your thoughts on the race so far?
Well, the first few laps, particularly during the first stint, they were pretty chaotic, which was good for myself and the viewers because I was thoroughly involved in the whole thing. As we just saw Aradhya jumping off that sausage curb, but just barely managed to keep his car under control. But yeah, it was a pretty topsy-turvy race. With so many of the drivers who started out in front, crashing out or spinning. Well, as you can see from the likes of the Real SD and I guess Kapil as well, because Kapil, he had a pretty decent first stint but had a few incidents. Likewise Black Sheep, but he managed to put in a brilliant recovery drive. And from the penalties, I don't think he's going to be getting any positions, but still, yeah. Helium and Moto, it was a pretty routine drive for them because they are in a class of their own, as you can see. You can see from the championship itself. Moto, of course, managing to almost pull off that medium to soft run. Excuse me. Please take it away from me.
Yeah, no problem. And I think today was and Kapil goes wide. That gives Tanish some space. They both are going to bump wheels. Tanish gets too close. Kapil decides, hey, no, I'm not giving you any space.
Yeah, but to be honest, even if Kapil let Tanish go, he has 21 seconds, Tanish. What can he do at this point?
Yeah, the man is like running on the, at the border of getting a disqualification.
True. Oof. Oh, whoa. Oh, keep it out of that chicane, Tanish. I've seen him so many times losing the rear tires at that specific corner there.
Gentlemen, once again, sorry to cut you off, but we are in the final lap of the race.
Yes, it is. We're in the final lap, and Tanish is really going for the disqualification at this stage. And before we see anything more, let's just move on to Helium. What a fantastic race from but Tanish, playing every single card.
Oh my god.
What is this? Okay, coming back, Helium, a fantastic race for him and a pretty solid end to the championship. He started the race in P1, he ends it in P1, and he ends it in style. He probably was trying to go for a donut there. But yeah, just an amazing race from Helium and a worthy champion for IRC here today. What are your thoughts on that, Prophet and Dan? Our champion crown today.
It's fantastic. I think Helium deserves it. He was dominating today, and more than Helium, I think fantastic drive by Moto. He just kept his head down, kept himself as clean as he could, built that gap between him and Wilster so he could, avoid losing out position because of that penalty. And I think that puts him in P2 in our Drivers' Championship. And of course, we have Kapil. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut in there, but I'm quite impressed by how Wilster came from last to P3. I didn't even notice that. When did that happen?
Definitely a decent. The man who isn't even in the race right from the beginning.
Oh, okay, that's great to know. So I assume that's Akash Manamana getting P3 there. So yeah, that's great for Akash Sonawane as well, getting his car on the top step. Sorry to cut you off there, Prophet, but you can go ahead with that.
Yeah, like I said, it was just a fun race today, and Helium totally deserves every bit of praise that he's, earned in the race today, and also Moto putting up a champion's drive. It felt like a champion's comeback. And yeah, hats off to our top 2 and top 3. I think Aradhya is still P3 in the championship, if I'm not wrong. But look at that. We had how many?
So many warnings. Wow.
I would say about over 100 warnings because I saw 26 four times.
I think half of them was just Tanish. Like half of them was just Tanish. Doing some weird calls. I think Tanish was just memeing that race. I don't think he was anywhere interested in actually performing after probably the first or second penalty. He just gave up.
Can we go to the pit stop screen and see what the strats were like today?
I think it would be an easy soft medium or medium soft.
Yep.
I don't think anyone would have done anything more. I think this track allows for that one stop to work very well. So yeah,
Not sure why Ashray did medium hard soft. He probably, I don't know what he was thinking. Probably the mediums didn't do well for him and he put it earlier. Tried to go late so that he didn't have to double stop. And that
Yeah,
kind of seemed to have
probably
compromised.
he spun or something at the start of the race and decided just to go on the hards. Mm, Yeah, that could have been the scenario. But yeah, can we get, of course, Helium, Moto, and Akash in here for their podium
Yeah,
interviews? Are we doing that right now?
before we go there, we will be doing a celebration to this successful season.
Donuts time.
Yes. So yeah, we will be making another lobby for that. So just hold on to hold on to your seats, folks. We'll probably be
Yeah,
back in a few minutes. So yeah, we'll discuss the race in the meantime.
yeah, definitely. I think in terms of the championship fight, the race was never interesting because, of course, Helium was so far ahead. But in terms of having a race and a proper race where people are fighting for each and every single position, that was definitely entertaining. I think every single person at one point was fighting for each other's position, and we saw some amazing moves, some really good wheel-to-wheel action, and then some pretty bad wheel-to-wheel action as well. So we got all of it today.
Yeah,
What about?
action is all that we needed. And yeah, one highlight from this race is that the how closely the drivers were to each other. Like we saw 5 drivers sticking to each other's diffusers for almost 4 laps. I think that was Black Sheep, Akash, Kapil, Risil, and what's his name, Aradhya. So yeah, and they managed to do so without any of this any unwarranted collisions and all of that. So it was it was an amazing job they pulled off at that moment. So yeah, one of my highlights,
Definitely.
definitely.
And sometimes they were quite literally into each other's diffusers at some stages of the race. But yeah, this is something that I'm hoping the next game helps out a lot as well, because of course the next game would have less effect of dirty air, and we might see some more action around Silverstone. Of course, Silverstone is one hell of a circuit, and it definitely shows seeing how many times there was some excuse me. Prophet, could you take over with your opinions of this race?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, Dan, I'd recommend probably while we are getting ready for the donuts, we can probably pull in our podium finishers and interview them in the meanwhile as well. And then,
Yeah, about that. We've been requested to do the celebratory donuts first and then the podium interviews.
got it. Makes sense.
Yeah, I wonder if you're going to see something like Sebastian.
Yeah, haphazard, could you please repeat what you said? Yeah, the man is out.
I
he's
think,
got
yeah,
a-
he might be
yeah.
having a little bit of an issue. It was fun. I had so much fun in this race because you got to see some really class driving today from some of the boys. And yeah, Hap was right. Those who were earlier on the softs, they might have had a really strong starting stint, but the kind of struggles they had to put up within the latter half, they would probably have chosen to gone with a compromise start on the mediums instead. So that was fun to see. It was like a twist of fate, if I may. The tires just turned at like a double date blade for everyone else.
Yes, have to agree with you on that. Also, the medium runners were not helped by the soft runners or the few other drivers in front of them battling it out, especially the likes of Moto, who's on par with pace with the likes of with Helium, of course. He was 4 seconds ahead of behind the current Tier-1 drivers champion. So yeah, it was a I guess Moto would be disappointed by that, but yep, there we go. The celebrating that's already dead, and I think someone else crashed into. No, he got
He just
ghosted.
took himself out, I feel like.
Yeah,
So much
amazing.
for the celebratory donut. They should have probably made it like a short race and kept it ready beforehand, and then while the fireworks go on. Yeah, I think they've done that. It's a 5-lap race.
Yeah,
They're just gonna go. slowly.
Yeah, people just, you know, I think they could have just, you know, turned off the penalties, because at this rate they're going to get disqualified and there won't be any celebratory donuts. Wow, look at that. Hold on, just give me a second. I might
Wait,
have.
why aren't they doing the donuts right now? Like, what's
They're waiting
stopping
for
them
the
from?
fireworks.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Hap, I think you might have missed results. You know, kamikaze in the
DNF.
start, the start finish line.
Oh
You
jeez,
on the
yeah.
center watch.
You know,
Yeah,
when you buy a
definitely.
box of donuts, and there's usually one donut that's smashed in the side of the wall. That's how Rissel was today in the beginning. So yeah.
Well, while we're speaking about missing stuff, if you ever have missed any sort of action, you can definitely view this race back in at YouTube. So definitely go watch this race. It was
Woo!
fantastic race with the
First
actually.
donut.
Oh, and you
Couple
can
just
see
died
those.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we
oh,
go.
that's perfect.
Rip couple.
Oh wow, yes. I wish we could see something like Sebastian. I was saying we could see something like Sebastian Vettel, Hamilton, and Alonso at the start finish straight. Be amazing to
Can we
see
see that
all
in
our three
cinematic
contenders.
mode? SD doing his
Look at
donuts.
that. I don't think we could ever see this.
He's stuck.
He's stuck in the
Oh my god,
sausage cup.
he
Wow.
throttled himself, dude. He shelled himself.
This man is disqualified. Wow. I don't think we've never gotten to see this ever in any of
Uh,
our races in IRC. This is legit the physics,
Can
real life physics coming into play.
Oh wow, no, he's actually Can we take a look at the helium and see what he's doing there?
Yeah.
Are they doing any donuts? Oh, he lost a wing. Yeah, well, you don't need to use a wing for donuts, so yeah, that would be fine for helium.
He
Wow,
can.
20 seconds.
Where are the celebrations, guys? Come on. Or
Yeah,
are they like
exactly.
they're probably just waving to the crowd as they, you know, drive around the track.
Yeah. They never mentioned we had to do 5 laps of them waving around uh, the crowd, but yeah, nice. Finally, we can see some some donuts from helium. And sad. Moto, of course, of course, this is what I wanted. Sebastian Vettel, Alonso, and the Hamilton donut, something spectacular like this. Can we see cinematic mode? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. See, this is what we want. This is amazing to see. These drivers have done amazingly well, and yeah, this is the perfect end to a season that was filled with so much entertainment, so much intrigue, so much suspense.
Yeah. Are they going to do donuts with DRS?
That would be too much, right? That would be a bit too much.
Ooh. Yep.
Do
Thanks
it.
for that, my man. Thank you. I think it's just Ashley. No. It's helium. Yeah. I think he's also going to make a
Okay,
set.
helium, come on.
Come on,
Come on,
let's go.
helium.
Full
Send it.
Yeah.
Send it. Oh.
There falls another soldier.
Sorry, Kevin.
Come on, guys. What are you doing? Yeah. I don't think there's gonna be any more donuts. So yeah, let's just go on board go to our podium interview.
Who was third? Who was second and third? Second तो मोटो था, third कौन था?
Yep, the podium interviews are live, and I think the guys are joining in. So yeah, our race winner Helium is here, who is just shouting into the speaker without knowing that he was in the podium interview box, the com box. So it's all right, man. We've all been there. Don't worry about it. And we also have our P2 finisher Moto, and I don't know why Wilster is here. I think it was Akash who finished P3, but yeah, desyncs happened. So I think we'll just have to wait for the instructions from the yeah, I think we just have to wait for instructions from our
Do we?
coordinators. So yeah, I think yeah, Hap, why do you start off with the podium interviews? Like why don't we start with Moto?
Of course. Okay. Hello, Mora. I think that race was pretty good for you considering how bad it got at the start of the first few laps. Of course, you qualified well with P3, again just behind Aradhya and Helium, very close to them. But after the first few laps, I think it was all about damage control for you, and I think you perfected that strategy in the end. That medium system, I think that alternate strategy worked amazingly well for most of those drivers. So yeah, your views on how that race went for you.
Yeah. First off, great season. I mean, this is one of the biggest seasons we've had in IRC, and it was a joy to be part of it. And yeah, for the race, yeah, qualifying was a bit of a dud actually, even though P3 didn't quite find the pace on the inter tires. And yeah, from there, the race. I mean, I just switched to the alternate strategy the last second. And started on the mediums. And the start was okay. I mean, I expected the soft runners to get a rocket start. There was no contention for that. But then on the exit of Luffield, I kind of got beached in the gravel. Nearly lost the car, but trying to save it, I lost, I think, 6-7 positions. So yeah, from there on, I knew WDC was just like over. I would need a miracle. I also lost my cool, getting penalties, and yeah, not really driving that well. But it was still a good race. Some good moves I made, and I had to fight back for P2. And yeah, I'm still happy with the race. And yeah, I'm just happy to be part of the season. It's been a fantastic season.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been amazing to see you. I don't know, this race wouldn't work out well for you, but there were some amazing races on your side, some amazing performances, and this season wouldn't be very less entertaining without you in it. So definitely quite enjoyed this championship fight with you, Helium and Arathi again.
Yeah. I think my 3 DNFs kind of costed me the WDC there, but yeah, I'm just glad to just be a part of this 8th iteration of IRC F1. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. So next, Dan, can we move on to Bilster, I believe? Did Bilster get P3 officially?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. I thought there was a lot of desync. Helium, sorry, Wilster just kept switching between P11 and I think I don't know what the other position, which it was P1. So yeah, I think then we can go ahead with Wilster. So Wilster, we didn't. Your race, as far as we saw, was pretty subtle. Are you there, Wilster? Yeah. So yeah, your race was pretty subtle. Like I was under the impression that you were offline, you were disconnected. So we did cover you for most of the for the entirety of the race, in fact. So yeah, just talk us through your race then.
Well, I'd say yeah, it was a calm race. Nothing really happening apart from hash rating. That's it. Nothing really. Just keeping it consistent and no penalties got me that P3. So that's it.
Well, we also saw a few moments. Yeah, that reminds me. You're qualifying. So there was. We did capture a moment between yourself and Aradhya, where he bumped into you he bumped into your diffuser through the fast right-hander, Cobbs, I think. No, not Cobbs.
That might be decent because I'm pretty sure whenever I saw him behind me, I just let him go because there's nothing I need to fight for. So might be decent issues.
Yeah, because we just thought that you guys started close to each other during your hot laps, and Aradhya was just faster than you that in that particular lap. So
Aradhya has been faster than me the whole season, so
right.
it's always been the playing Perez for him. Nothing else.
Well, if it was just desync, then well and good. It's all it's all in the past, and yeah, it was a good race from you, my man. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, haphazard. Why don't you take away the interview of our Tier-1 drivers champion, or IRC champion rather, Helium?
Definitely. Okay. Helium, what can I say about you in that race? I think that race was perfect for you. It's from start to finish, no incidents, no issues. Of course, that first lap was a bit tricky because Aradhya and Kapil were so close, through the first few sequence of corners. I think it was definitely at Cops where I think you must have had some relief because that's when you started to really dominate. I think we could see every single for the first few laps, every single lap you were just getting fastest lap after fastest lap. I think you were clearly the fastest person on that track. And if you, well, again, your strategy, you opted for the soft medium. It worked great for you, but I can just imagine what pace you would have had if you were on the mediums to soft strategy, which would have been something else as well. But yeah, pretty perfect end to that amazing season you had. Of course, you had some b- unlucky instances where you had to retire a few races, and that kept the fight going. But clearly, in the end, when it came to when it came to actually performing, I think you delivered here. So yeah, Helium, just talk us through the entire notion of when you felt like you became a champion of IRC.
Well, honestly, I think it was a given championship for me because I have no clue what happened between Kapil and Aradhya. I just saw Aradhya sideways. Then we went through cops. The rest of the race was pretty boring. Not to be very egotistical or anything, but I was just ahead. The guys behind me just kept fighting and all. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I was just keeping the car on track. I tried not to get any warnings and all that. And I saw Moto lose a lot of positions at some point. And Aradhya, obviously in lap one, he was taken out or whatever happened. I don't know. So I felt like now I didn't had to push or anything. I just kept to myself, finished the race, didn't go for any fastest lap or anything. That was probably because happening just because people were fighting behind me. So
Definitely.
yeah, that was
So
pretty much
again,
it.
congratulations on your championship. I think it has been an amazing season for you. Um, yeah, and one hell of a finale for us as well.
Thank you.
Right. So Dan, can we? Are we supposed to interview someone else right now?
Yes, if you, in case you forgot, our constructors championship has also been sealed by our Has boys, Moto and Banat. So congratulations to you as well, guys. So yeah, just let me just just give the viewers your thoughts on how your season progressed in terms of the constructors battle.
Okay, so I'll go. Thanks a lot. I mean, it's been a super season for me. Like, I literally started sim racing, I think almost exactly a year ago. Bought my first wheel at that time, and also going through tier two and then coming to tier one, I think was a big adjustment for me personally. Because first 3 or 4 races I was absolute garbage. But Moto kept getting the points up there at that time, and things started to get the pace slowly throughout the race, and managed to get a few podiums. That was my entire objective. And I think we worked well together. I think I've been lucky both the seasons. I had Freeman in tier two last season, who was phenomenal, and Moto had a great season this year. So yeah, very happy and glad to have taken something because I missed out on both championships last year, so I wanted to get at least one this time.
Yes, Banat. So we well, it is a highlight that you won the championship this time. Well, I've always known you to be a very consistent driver, not just in IRC but in the other leagues as well, in which we've seen you. And yeah, even if the start of the season didn't go as planned, you did, keep your head for the rest of your journey, and yeah, it did pay off in the end. And yeah, let's not forget Moto's outlandish pace. He's literally one of the fastest out there. I'd go so far as to say one of the fastest esports drivers in India. So yeah, that also helped your car. So Moto, now that we are on your topic, likewise, what Banat said. Talk us through your season.
Yeah, great season, brilliant. Like I loved the entire season was great, and it was lovely to have Azim as a teammate as well. We were always pushing each other to the limit, and at the start things were rocky for both of us, not only Azim. Even I had a couple of bad races at the start, and we slowly got used to how to take the races, how to not push flat out at the start, take it easy, choose your pickings carefully, and went on from there. And then it was just a really good season with like a lot of teamwork and all involved as well, and a lot of instances where we helped each other with traffic, with overtakes, and with DRS games and whatnot. So even slipstreams, so even though they usually would turn out to be a bit of a disaster in qualifying with all the traffic, but yeah, it certainly did. It certainly was fun, trying in the first place. But yeah, a great season, and I'm really glad to see the WCC, and looking forward to another great season on the new game if it is good on launch and actually works. But yeah, great season overall.
Yeah, let's hope the same. Let's hope for the same because there's a lot of hype being built around F122, and and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a cakewalk for you, man. Don't worry about it. We are not worried either. So, yeah, congratulations once again for winning the the Tier-1 drivers, the constructors championship.
Yeah. Before we end this, looking at the standings, I think you two were the most consistent driver pairing with getting as many points as you can because, of course, you won by quite a margin. So yeah, again, it just shows how well you two have communicated and learned on being learned and working together. It just shows how much of an achievement you guys have had this season. So amazing job, pretty good end to the season.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
All right, then that brings us to the conclusion of this event. So, yep, it was a brilliant spectacle right from the start till the end, and yeah, it was fun to watch as well. So, yeah, haphazard. I hope the same goes for you as well, my friend.
Well, definitely, I think this race was everything I hoped for. It was quite entertaining in the end.
Yeah. As a streamer, I could not get to see the weather prediction. So when I saw that the quali was wet, I was expecting the race also to be wet. So yeah, and wet race in Silverstone is pretty much a snooze fest. But yeah, luckily it didn't turn out that way. And of course, our drivers also put on quite a brilliant show for us with all of that action. And it didn't really matter if it was, to me at least, that it was whether it was dirty driving or clean overtakes, or, well, I wouldn't say dirty driving, but yeah, collisions, wheel
Questionable
banging,
driving.
etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it was an amazing race overall.
Definitely, I think I have to agree with every single point there. Yeah, it's definitely a worthy end to the season, I would say.
Yes, indeed. With the and especially, and also adding to the ending is the sealing of the Tier-1 drivers championship as well as the constructors championship. So yeah, a lot of things making this finale worthwhile finale indeed, worth that title. So yep, that again let's conclude with this then. So if you are into motorsports or esports or any of the like, do join our Discord server. The link is up in the description. If you also want, we do all sorts of discussions as well as esports racing stuff as well. So we do ACC, F1 as well as dirt racing, dirt rally, a bit of Assetto Corsa also. The platform, all of the platforms are extremely fun to be part of. If you we also have our social handles as well, as you can see, our Insta IDs Indian Racing Community, so give us a follow there as well. Do like and do subscribe to our content as well. We will be back with more F1 content from probably the next 2 months onwards. I'm just speculating here, but that will be up to the admins to decide upon. So, yep, it was a fun journey to be on with you guys for this race, and this is me, Dan, the SSJ Assassin, signing off.